You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, quit that JOB, that just over broke job, by investing in real estate so you never ever have to work a job again. Today, I'm super pumped to be talking to you about advanced investing and playing Monopoly, and how that's a part of your investing strategy is to grow from single-family homes, which are amazing, and then move into, like Monopoly, into multifamily and win the game of Monopoly in real life. And I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here's your host, Dustin Heiner.
What up, what up, what up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. And honestly, I really appreciate you coming and listening every single week. And honestly, if you even follow me on Instagram or reach out to me on Instagram, the Dustin Heiner, THE Dustin Heiner. No, I'm not that arrogant. It's the only handle I could come up with, being the Dustin Heiner. But reach out to me on there. I love chatting with everybody about how they can invest in real estate, because real estate has literally changed my life. I'm even on TikTok, so you can find me there. But I am super pumped about what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I've been doing this podcast for literally, what is it now, 8 years now? Started in 2016. Wow. Has it been 8 years? Wow, doing the podcast for 8 years. And Lord willing, being able to do it for many, many more. Now, in the history of Master Passive Income, I've stuck to buy and hold single family or residential real estate investing. So residential being 4 units and below, that is residential. I love 4 units and below. It's so simple. Like, I know if you're listening for the first time, or if you're a first-time investor, or even if you have a few properties of your own, I know it is a little scary. Trust me, I've been there. And I've been there in your shoes, and every single student that I have, we've had thousands of students now, they all start where you are. And it's honestly, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's actually fairly simple. Now, the wrong way is, I don't want you to look down yourself if you haven't done it yet. It's not easy, but it is simple. There's a simple process in doing residential, 4 units and below. So what we do is we buy and hold properties, residential, and we would do long-term, mid-term, long-term meaning we have 12 month lease. We have mid-term where you rent it for 30, 60, or 90 days. And, you just have to furnish it just like an Airbnb. We could do short-term, which is great as well. Short-term like Airbnb. And we could also do co-living, which we're going to go into a lot more episodes on all these different types of investing. But Master Passive Income is literally growing. And this is something that I teased out a little bit. Master Passive Income is growing into the multifamily space as well. I have a good friend of mine who is a fantastic, phenomenal real estate investor in multifamily. He's coming on to be a coach. So we have graduation for you from single family or residential into multifamily, and we're going to start coaching multifamily. And I am super pumped. And you guys know me. I only like working with people that I like, that I want to be around. If there's somebody that we just don't get along, then they're not going to be a part of Master Passive Income. But the people that we have, from Charles Rose Jr. to William Palmer, Terry Schauer, Zach Zimmer, and Dennis Trufin, all these Master Passive Income Podcast Network shows, I'm going to introduce you to them on this channel, but they also have their own channels. They're all amazing people, and they all see the vision of helping you to invest in real estate. Now, just recently, last week, I dropped Terry Schauer's The Real Escape Investing podcast on this channel. So go back last week and you can hear that one. And that basically is to show you what she's talking about on her show. And she's fantastic. And then you're going to be getting the other shows. You're going to be getting one of their episode once a week coming on the Master Passive Income podcast, on my podcast, not in place of the normal show, but it's in addition to help you with more investing, more education, more understanding on how to invest. Now, we're also going to be bringing on another podcast. Super pumped about it, but it's on multifamily investing. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Multifamily is apartment complexes, or really what it comes down to, it's commercial real estate investing. It could be apartment complexes. It could be hotels, which I've already invested in, which is fantastic. Love it. You could have storage facilities, mobile home parks, office buildings. Think of commercial. And the reason why it's commercial is because of the type of loans that you need to get for these properties. You need to get commercial loans. We're going to get into all of this. Now, multifamily is the progression, I believe, a progression for investors like us. We start with cookie cutter, bread and butter type of properties that we can actually buy and make passive income and eventually get financial independence with those properties. And then we graduate or move into the advanced investing. That would be multifamily investing, where we get apartment complexes. So I literally, before I get into all the education on how to do it, I want you to think about investing in multifamily as your way to get advanced investing. Now, when you're starting in a residential 4 units and below, you're starting at a certain level of investing where you're putting your money in. You're not really getting a lot of other people around you raising capital, raising money. You're not getting a lot of people investing with you. You're getting some. But what you're looking at with multifamily is it's the economy of scale, which means instead of a 4 units and below, let's say you buy one single family home, you have one property that makes you money. If you have 4 units in a quadplex, I think that's, I don't know if that's what it's called, but a quad, 4 units. Well, you have 4 doors and 4 places that people can rent and you make money. If one's not rented, you have 3 others that are still rented, so you're still making money. And then you also have a property manager that can manage all 4 of those properties. They go to one place. So we're going to get into all this. Now, multifamily, it's so much bigger economies of scale. And right now, and I'm going to tell you about this right now, if you want to invest with me, and the rest of this episode, we're going to get into multifamily investing and the pros and cons on it and why at Master Passive Income, I've been investing in multifamily for a while, but I haven't coached it because I honestly just don't like to coach it. I'm not a numbers person. I'm really not a numbers person at all, but I have somebody that's coming on, which I'll share with you in another future episode who's coming on. He's amazing with numbers. He's been doing this for many, many years, taught lots and lots of people how to do this. But I am going to be a general partner on a deal, and I am literally opening it up. If you want to invest with me in my deal, I actually have a deal. Here is amazing, quick little bits of it, and there's going to be so much more information for you if you want to be a part of this investing, and if you want to invest with me in my deal. Well, this is multiple different apartment complexes, buying all of them. We're going to have 350 doors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That's actually the city that I'm moving to. I have my good friends Jason and Peely Yarusi. They literally have, I want to say like 600 doors in the Murfreesboro area. So when we're thinking of economies of scale, they literally have, now this will be like close to 1,000 units, I believe, or close to it, or somewhere around there, that they manage, and they have other people help to manage those properties so costs come down, which we'll get into in just a second. But this deal is so amazing. If you think of the value of a home, well, you look at comparable sales. Well, this one property, if you want to invest in this one with me, the value of the properties around are about $140,000 per door, or per unit that you open up. We're buying this for $90,000. We're getting such an off-market deal. It's absolutely amazing. It's $90,000 per door when it actually should be $140,000 per door. And on top of that, this place is already cash flowing. It's going to have great terms for, I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, I'm going to tell you more about how to invest in multifamily, but in telling you about this deal, if you want to learn more about this deal and invest with me in this one particular deal that I'm joining in on, then I want you to check the link in the description, but masterpassiveincome.com/COVE, COVE. It'll actually take you to a questionnaire, ask you a couple questions, because honestly, you have to be an accredited investor to invest in, and the minimum investment is $50,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of money, which it is a lot of money, but what I want you to think about, as a real estate investor, we progress to get there. Now, I'm blessed to have many properties and a lot of cash flow coming in. Well, I could buy another property, which is absolutely what I do, but when you think about the economies of scales and all the pros of, and we'll get into it just a second. Sorry, I keep leading into, we're going to show, or I'm going to tell you about all these good things about it. But when you have the economies of scale, I'm going to be putting my own money into this deal. I would not bring you a deal if I wasn't putting my own money in there. Well, I'm putting my own money in the deal and opening it up to you if you want to invest with me. So we're going to be doing a webinar so you can actually see all the great things and actually talk to the team, the people around me, the Euruses as well. It is going to be a phenomenal deal, and I'm super, super pumped to bring it to you. And you can check it out. Join us on the webinar. And if it's a good fit, then it's a good fit. Now, the big thing is in multifamily is you are growing your business super fast because you're getting multiple doors. And when you're thinking about investing, or at least when I think about investing, the big thing that I and most people think about is let's not lose money, or let's do everything we can to not lose our money that we invest in anything that we buy. Then the second thing that we think about is how do we get a return on that money that you're putting into. So number one, not losing it. And number two, getting a return on that money. Now, if you're going to be investing in multifamily properties, a big thing that you're going to have to realize is what we do is we get a lot of people to invest with us. Now, if you're extremely wealthy, which I mean, I am blessed to have enough money to pay for my food and, the roof over our heads and everything like that. We're blessed to have a good life, but I'm not wealthy enough to put $12 million down on a property. So what we do is we get other people to invest with us. And that helps us to get the down payment, to get a commercial loan, to buy the property. Now, there are some amazing pros and some cons. And trust me, there are cons. You got to be watching out for it. And I'm going to be walking you through the pros and cons of multifamily investing. Now, I've been doing multifamily for a little while now, and I'm really super pumped to be sharing this to you. Now, let's go through some of the pros, or the pros that I see of multifamily property investment. Now, number one is cash flow. Now, the property that you're buying is, when you buy a single family home, you could kind of fudge the numbers and you can almost like lose money sometimes. Some people say that, like, let's buy a house, pay a lot of money for it, and even if we lose money, we're going to get tax write-off, which this is not what we're doing with multifamily. Multifamily is all about cash flow, because what you're doing is you are buying a business. Put that in your brain. You're buying a house, a single family home, you're buying a property. When you buy a multifamily, apartment complexes or hotels or storage facilities, you're buying a business. That's the first thing that you need to realize. And with buying a business, you absolutely need to make cash flow every single month, because honestly, you're going to have debt that's going to be different than a 30-year fixed. It's a commercial loan, and usually 5 to 7 years you have to refinance it because it's a commercial loan. And the great thing about multifamily, and this deal that I'm getting into, is 350 doors. So if one's not rented, you have 349 other ones that are making you money. So a big reason why we invest in multifamily is for cash flow and monthly cash flow. Now, if you're an investor, you're not going to be getting money every single month like you would for your property. It's actually paid out quarterly distributions that they do. And so instead of every month, it's just every quarter, but it's obviously combined up together. Now, cash flow is tremendous, and you will be getting that. Now, another thing is passive income. When you actually invest in a multifamily property where I'm the general partner, there's 3 other general partners that are part of this. Well, we literally do all the work. And this is absolutely passive for you. And it's a great way to generate income because it's passive for you. You park your money there, and there's 2 ways that multiple ways that we get paid out. Number 1, cash flow. We make money every single month. Number 2, we sell the property in 5 to 7 years and hopefully make more money than we bought it for, which this one property that I'm investing in that you can be a part of, we're getting it for $90,000 a door when the actual going rate is $140,000 a door. And here's a big reason why we're getting it for so low. The people that we're buying it from, they have a deal in Knoxville. And in Knoxville, that deal, they need extra money. Well, they bought the properties that we're buying. They bought it 15 years ago. So their cost basis is pretty low and they need money. And so they went to this agent and said, hey, we really need to close this deal fast. Who do you know that closes deals fast so we can get money for it? So they went to the Euruses, and I'm partnering with them. And it's off-market deal. It is phenomenal because this other company needs the money for their big development that they're doing. So they're willing to let this go for a lot less because they bought it for a lot less and they need the money right now. They need it fast, which we can absolutely close. And so you have the ability to sell it for more than it's worth. So you get cash flow, you sell it for more than it's worth and put that in your pocket, but also you get tax breaks. So amazing, the depreciation on a multifamily investing property. If you make any amount of money, depreciation is amazing. Especially if you make a lot of money, let's say you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or you have a lot of money, the depreciation alone is going to save you like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on taxes. Now, that's something that we could also do is depreciate the asset even faster. And I'm throwing a lot of high level terms in there, so don't worry if it's going to go over your head, but I want you to, we're going to start scratching the surface of this multifamily investing. So a big term that I'm gonna throw out is a cost segregation. And I wanna pause for a quick second and share that honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. Now, my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin at Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I wanna get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate because the more that actual, normal, everyday people own real estate that are good landlords, the better everybody's life gets. So cost segregation is we're going to accelerate the depreciation. Instead of, I think it's like 27.5 years for taxes to cut off or bring down our taxes, we're going to accelerate to like 3 years. So we're going to get all that 27.5, condense it down into 3 years. So we're going to save so much more money in taxes. So those are amazing benefits. There's so many more, but I want to get into more other things that are benefits and pros about doing multifamily. Now, the value of a multifamily property is not based on comparable sales. Like if you buy a single family home, the realtor looks at other homes in the area that sold for this exact same price or the same criteria, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, whatever it might be, but they look for a very similar home. And that similar home, they say this one sold is very similar for X amount of dollars. Well, that means our house that we're trying to sell should be worth about X amount of dollars. Multifamily is absolutely not like that. The reason why is because it's a business. They're looking at the valuation of how much money it brings in, not the property itself, because there are not a lot of multifamilies that are exact same. So what they need to do is they value it as a business. Now, the great thing that we do when we buy a multifamily, so we buy it for less than it's worth. Obviously, it's great to capture equity, but then with that, the valuation is lower if the property is not fully rented or they're not getting the top dollar on the amount of rent. Let's say it's 70% occupied. Well, that's 30% of the business that's not actually generating revenue. We buy the property, we fix it up, we actually make it like 95% occupied. That is literally 25% more of revenue coming in that makes the property worth more. So when it's worth more, you can sell it for more. So you're making even more money. Now, another pro is lowered risk. You have I'm going to say low risk in general because everything you invest in, there's risks to everything. If you invest with me in this deal, I'm going to be straightforward. We could literally lose all of our money. 100%. Just like if you bought a single family home. If you didn't do it right, you could lose all of your money. Now, what we do is we do due diligence, which means we look at the deal, run all the numbers. We make sure that as best as we can, it's going to be a good deal. Now, I've already done it for me. I want to invite you, if you want to look at this deal, you could jump on a webinar or actually go to the link, masterpassiveincome.com/cove. Go to that link, and then you will be able to see and sign up, or give me your information so we can actually contact you. Come watch the webinar and see if this is for you, because it's lower risk when you do multifamily. And here's the reason why. It's because you have 350 doors in this one property, that it's spread out over all these properties, that if one's not rented, 10's not rented, you still have 340 other doors. And it's relatively safe asset class because honestly, everybody needs a place to live. And it's much easier for somebody to get an apartment than get a house to come and live in. And so when you look at the risk is spread out over many, many doors. Plus, there are many other people that are overseeing it, from property managers, general partners like myself and the Urusis, and two other companies that are really good multifamily investors. So your risk is lowered. Not necessarily as low as single family home. I'll tell you the truth. I believe single family home is much less in risk personally, but it does have lower risk as well. Another thing is you're going to have a benefit is the scalability for your management costs. If you had one property, you're going to be paying 10% on that to your property manager. Well, we have 350 doors instead of one property. So instead of 10%, we're actually being charged 3.5% because we have so many doors. That means the costs have gone down so dramatically. So instead of 10% for 350 doors, we're paying 3.5%. I think it's something like that. We'll look at the numbers when you come in the webinar. But we'll have 3.5% for all those 350 doors. So the costs come down dramatically because it's so much easier for a property manager to actually manage a property when they're right next door. They're already talking to that tenant. And then right next door, they're talking to that tenant. It's so much more scalable for your property manager because they're all located in one general area. And everything is very cookie cutter, or like the same countertops, the same paint, the same carpet. And so when you buy paint, you buy enough paint to paint your place. But let's say you had extra, this one unit. Well, you just put it in a storage facility. And then when the next unit needs to get painted, you pull that same paint out and you paint. So every single wall is the same. Every single carpet's the same. Everything's the same. Another huge bonus that is absolutely amazing. I touch on this a little bit, but it is the tax benefits of having a multifamily property. That accelerated depreciation is absolutely amazing with that cost segregation. So if you heard those words, you might be thinking, what do those terms mean? It just means you're going to be getting so much more depreciation, or the IRS is going to see your income as being much less than without that. On top of that, the government actually has a bonus depreciation, which I believe is 80% right now, like 80% more. But I think they're also passing a bill where it's going to be retroactive, where it will be 100% bonus depreciation. I'm not sure exactly how it's calculated, but you're getting so much more benefits. And here's the thing, the rich people become politicians. Well, the politicians are rich people that think, and also their donors are rich people. And so they're thinking, how do I make these laws the best for me as a rich person who invests in real estate and multifamily? Well, let's do bonus depreciation. Let's just give us even more bonus on tax benefits. Well, you can absolutely take advantage of that. It's just a law that everybody has the ability to take advantage of. Now, let's go over some of the cons or the negative things about multifamily investing. Now, there aren't very many, but at the same time, you're going to get some. A big one that I'm going to start out with is just like if you owned your own business, let's say you're selling candy bars and you buy them for 50 cents and you could sell them for $1. Well, you're making 50 cents every single month, which is fantastic. But let's say you, for a time, cannot sell the candy bar. You're still paying 50 cents. You have a big inventory, but you're not selling them. Well, let's say you make a loss on that business. You start losing money. Well, then you got to put your own money that you worked another job into the business. So you take that money you made, put it in the business so you can keep running the business. Same thing with multifamily. Honestly, the same thing with single family as well. It's a business. If you are not making money, the same thing that's going to happen if you are running a candy bar business. You need to put your own money into the business. So obviously you get the benefits. You want to make money in passive income. That's definitely by far what we want to do. But if you start losing money, just like if your single family starts losing money, you need to put your own money into it. And it's called, what the term is is called capital call, which means they're calling up all their investors and say, hey, investors, this did not do as well as we thought it was going to do. In this quarter, we need you to pay money into this business, even more money because we lost money. Now, that obviously is a big bummer if that happens. And a way that I've found to mitigate that is to completely vet the deals that you're going to be getting, looking at the terms of the loan, how long they are. Reason why I like this one that we're getting into, it's a 7-year loan. If there is any problems in the economy, hopefully over 7 years, things might correct and be better. And another way to mitigate that is by getting into a good deal where you can exit that deal pretty quickly. Like we're buying these apartment complexes for $90,000 per unit when it should sell without doing anything for $125,000 per unit, which would be great. If we fix it up, did a lot of work to it, made it worth more, it could be $140,000 per door, which is great. And another really amazing thing about the property that we're getting in Murfreesboro, there's actually a moratorium, which means they're not allowing any more multifamily properties to build because there's not enough sewage prepared, like, infrastructure. And so that's great for us because demand still is high. And with that, there's no more supply being built until they do some sewage fixing or correcting, whatever it is for the infrastructure. And so our properties are going to be worth more because there's less supply, much more demand. And so that's another great thing. But when you're looking at the property and having capital calls, you mitigate that by having good property management. You have good general partners like myself and other, like the Urusis and a couple other partners that have been doing this for a very long time. And you buy it right, which means you buy it for less than it's worth. So you could sell it if you really need to. And then at the same time, you get favorable loans. You get favorable interest rates that you can actually make money in passive income. So that's one big concern that I always have when I'm looking at a multifamily syndication or multifamily investment is, will I ever have a capital call? Well, it's always a possibility, but you mitigate that if you do the right things. Now, another downside about multifamily investing, it's very management intense, which means you need a lot of management. Like when you have 350 units, you have a lot of tenants coming and going, moving in, moving out. You have a lot of repairs, a lot of maintenance. But like I said a little bit earlier, the economies of scale that you have when you have 350 units, you pay less per unit when you have that money. And the Urusis and the other general partners on there, they have got multiple multifamilies. So they're probably close to 1,000 units. Well, with 1,000 units, we've negotiated the property management so much lower because they're still working with us. We're just putting this another company, this new properties inside of this business model. And we're putting them with the property manager that we're currently using and getting the price even lower. Now, the management is done by the management company, number one, but number two, the people that are the boots on the ground, the ones that are actually making sure of the business owners, those would be myself, the Urusis, and 2 other investors that are all coming together to be a part of this deal. And we make sure, and obviously, I actually love working with these guys. The Urusis are phenomenal. They've been doing this for at least 10 years now, doing a lot of investing. They have so many, like lots and lots of units. And so I trust them in their decision-making because they are heavily invested themselves. And I'll tell you this, I would not invest in a multifamily property if the person that's asking me to invest my money into that deal, if they were not investing their own money. Because I kid you not, there are lots of people, their companies are called, pick a name and they'll put the word capital behind it. Let's say it's like, I don't know, Tennessee Capital. That capital means they try to raise money from other people. And a lot of them, I don't know exactly how many, but some actually do not invest their own money into these deals. They're just salesmen to raise money, and they get a portion of that deal. If they bring you in and have you invest your money, then that's how they get into the deal. They don't put their own money in. Not all of them, some do. But what I would suggest, this is what I do. I only invest where the general partners are putting their own money into the deal. Like I am literally putting my family's money into this deal because I believe in this deal. And I personally want to benefit just like I want you to benefit into the deal. So that's another way that I always make sure that, as far as capital call, if the people that are raising the money have their own money, they don't want to have capital calls either, just like you don't as well. Now, another, not necessarily negative, it's just something you got to think about, is the cost of multifamily is much more expensive because you're looking at how many doors. If you bought one single family home for $90,000, well, then that's $90,000 for one single family home. Great, check. Not that bad. But 350 units at $90,000, that's a lot of money. Well, what we're doing is we're raising $12,000, sorry, way off. What we're doing is we are raising $12 million. I wish it was 12,000. We're raising $12 million. That's going to be the down payment for the commercial loan that's going to allow us to actually purchase the property and then make cash flow. So the price of these properties is higher, not per door, but in total, because there are so many more doors. But the passive income is higher because there are all the doors. Now, the down payment is another hurdle that's really hard for most people. That's why this is advanced investing. If you're a coaching student in Master Passive Income, what we're going to do is graduate you into, once you get really solid in when you get solid in residential and you start doing that really, really well and you're growing, then we move into multifamily because that's a logical progression that we do, and actually like playing Monopoly. So the cost is higher. You need to get other investors to invest with you. Now, another downside about multifamily, if you're going to do this on your own, you cannot. And here's the reason why. Number one, you need a loan from a bank, and that bank is going to qualify you. They're going to ask you, are you qualified to actually borrow this money? And they're going to check, number one, do you have the capital? Do you have the money to do it? Number two, do you have the experience? Have you done this before? If you have not actually done any real estate investing, that's a negative against you, so they won't lend it to you. Have you also done any multifamily commercial investing before? If you haven't, they're not going to lend to you. You need to find another person to put their name onto it who has the experience so that the bank would give you the loan and then that person gets part of the deal. So that's a small negative. Now, myself, the Urusis, and the two other investors, we're the ones that are bringing the deal together. You're just getting a part of this, and that gives you a little bit of experience, but at the same time, you're going to be looked at as a borrower if you're going to get into multifamily that has at least some experience. So in getting these loans, you need to have experience and you need to have the capital. So those are some negatives about it. Now, another one is the competition for multifamily. There's a lot of other properties in the area, and a great thing, the Urusis literally own like lots and lots of units, which we're putting our units, 350 units, in amongst all of theirs. And with that, we're not competing against ourselves, which is great. Now you're going to be competing against other multifamily and apartment complexes, just like you would if you had a Airbnb or a midterm or a long-term property. You have to worry about competition, the price point, and all that sort of stuff of how much you could rent it for. The great thing about, like I said, what this deal that we're coming up with is we have 350 doors. Number one, that's a lot of doors. And then on top of that, they have another 600-700 doors that they're adding this 350 to. And the great thing is it's literally all in Murfreesboro. And I am literally moving to Murfreesboro in a couple months. I bought a house. We close on it. It's going to be amazing moving there, but we're going to be investing in our hometown. So this is what I'm moving you to, is helping you now to go from residential buy and hold, which is phenomenal. Then we're going to graduate into multifamily, commercial loans, commercial investing, just like playing Monopoly, so you can win the game of Monopoly and become financially independent, even much more so. So what we do is we make money in our residential, and then we take that money, get financial independence, and then buy multifamily, and then grow even more and even faster. I've had some investors, friends of mine, who have literally exited, which means they put their money into a multifamily commercial property. Then after 3 or 4 years, they sold it to another company who bought the property, and they made, let's say, twice as much, like the value doubled on the price of the multifamily apartment complex. Well, they got the passive income all the time, every quarter, they got the passive income. But then the property doubled, they would make 100, maybe 150,000 or more dollars in the sale of the property and then put that back in their pocket to go and then do it again. That's the great thing about real estate investing. We just keep putting our money back into it over and over and over again. Multifamily is absolutely the direction that we go as real estate investors because we get more and more advanced. Now, we're going to have so many more shows. We have actually more podcasts that are coming on. Zach Zimmer has his podcast that talks about advanced investing, investing in notes and lending money, things like that, oil and gas, all that great stuff. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from other hosts at Master Passive Income, and you're going to be learning so much more. I want Master Passive Income to be the place where you go to learn about every type of real estate investing that we can do. Well, I really appreciate you guys. I'm so glad you guys were here with me. If you want to invest, like I said, go to masterpassiveincome.com/Cove, COVE. You could find the link in the description. And if you hear this somewhere like a year later, that link will still work. You could put in your information inside the application, and then you'll be able to know about our next deals that we're getting a part of. I'm super pumped. Hopefully every single deal is going to be like this. This deal is phenomenal, so I would love to see you be a part of this. And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.